because God doesn't tempt you with evil, but God supposedly tempted Abraham to do evil, when the one who told me God doesn't tempt with evil, James, used Abraham offering Isaac as a proof that Abraham was righteous son of God, not that God contradicts himself. How does that work?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. Would you say that he might come back at me and say, well, then why did God condemn human sacrifice at all then?
Because in the story of Abraham, he is condemning it if he wasn't stupid. That was my other point.
He is. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. He is because he stopped him.
You got it. That's the point of the test.
Yeah.
I'm going to break it down for you right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Thirdly, the very testing of Abraham was to show that God does not accept human sacrifices because he's not like the gods of the pagans. It's meant to teach the opposite point, that God is a God who will never allow someone to do evil and tempt someone to do evil. Not that he's tempting him to evil. He was teaching him his character. So now you want me to unpack it?
Sure.
So in other words, what's ironic, he thought this shows that God does tempt people with evil when it's the opposite point. The point of Genesis 2:22 is to show, I am not like the gods of the nations who demand child sacrifice, because that's evil. So I'm going to show you the kind of God I am and my character. But it was also meant to show Abraham, are you willing to do for me what the pagans do for their gods? You understand the point?
Yeah.
What is God? Now, I hope you guys are listening. This is going to be brought up, but if you guys are asleep and not listening, and I bored you, let me know, because I want you to hear this objection. The point of Genesis 22 is manifold. There's many things that God is teaching us in this chapter, many, and it's pointing to Jesus Christ. Okay. What is God teaching Abraham?
So God is teaching Abraham, because there's so many pagans around him who do this, that human sacrifice is wrong, even prior to the law of Moses.
Yep. But he's also trying to show him a lot. Number one, Abraham, are you willing to do for me what the pagans are willing to do for their gods? In other words, the pagans love their gods so much that they're willing to kill their own children to show they love the gods more than their children. Are you willing to sacrifice your son because you love me more than your son? Are you willing to go out of your way to show me the same love that the pagans do for their false gods? And Abraham said yes. That's number one. So he demonstrated he loves the giver of gifts and not just the gift. And he loves the giver of gifts more than the gift, because who gave him Isaac?
God.
Yes. Who gave Isaac to Abraham?
God.
Okay. So what is the test? Will you love me, the giver of the gifts, more than the gift that I gave you?
Right.
And Abraham passed the test. Yes. I love you more than Isaac, and I'm willing to kill Isaac to show you that I love you more than him. You with me?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's number one. Number one, I want you guys listening to the themes without this guy coughing in my ears.
Sorry.
Okay. No, it's my fault for you coughing. It's me. It's always my fault. Okay. Number one, I want you to understand the points that God is bringing out. Number one, do you, Abraham, love me just as much, if not more so, than the pagan gods love their gods? The pagans love their gods. I'm sorry. If so, are you willing to do for me what they do for their gods? They're willing to kill their children for gods and goddesses that are demons, that are false. Will you be willing to give up your son as a sacrifice to me? Abraham says yes. That's number one. He passed the test. So number two, in stopping him from killing Isaac, he then taught him, you don't need to worry about sacrificing your children, because I'm not that kind of God.
Yeah.
You understand the point?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's read verse 10 all the way to 12. And Abraham stretched out his hand and took the knife to slay his son. But the angel of Yahweh called to him from heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, here I am. He said, do not stretch out your hand against the boy and nothing to him, and do nothing. For now I know that you fear God, since you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. You passed the test. Moreover, you do not harm the lad, because now I'm going to let you know something else about me that you're not aware. I will never be that kind of God who demands you kill your children to appease me, because that is horrendous. So Abraham learned 2 lessons, didn't he? Lesson number 1, if you're listening, you cannot love anything more than God or as much as God. You must be willing to give up everything for God, because you wouldn't have what you have if God didn't give it to you. Everyone listening?
Yes.
Yep.
Number 2, I am not that kind of God who will ever demand of you to slaughter your children to appease me, because I hate human sacrifice. I hate the murder, the shedding of innocent blood, the murder of children. I am not that kind of God. The gods who demand such sacrifices are not gods, they're demons. So is it ironic that what he thought was a contradiction actually confirms that God will never tempt you to do something evil?
Wow.
Did it make sense, everyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
But thirdly, here's where you're going to see that this also points to Jesus. Okay, watch here. You go, well, now what? We're going to go a little deeper here. I hope you guys are not going to sleep here. This is stuff I don't think you're going to be hearing in church anytime soon. I hope everyone's listening. Now, who cried out from heaven? Watch. The angel of Yahweh called to him from heaven, right?
Mm-hmm.
Notice it doesn't say the Lord from heaven. The angel's in heaven, and he's calling out from heaven, right? Right?
Right.
Now watch it. Then the angel of Yahweh, 15 to 18, called to Abraham a second time from heaven. Now heaven is God's throne. You would think that God would speak from heaven, but it's the angel speaking. And he said, by myself I have sworn, declares Yahweh. So now the angel is telling you what Yahweh says. Because you have done this thing and not spared your son, your only son, indeed I will greatly bless you, and I will greatly multiply your seed as the stars of the heavens and as the sand which is on the seashore, and your seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. In your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed, because you have listened to my voice. So now, Abraham, I'm going to make you great, and I'm going to make sure that the blessing of all the nations comes from your seed. Now watch how this is going to point to Christ. Okay? But who's speaking? The angel. Now watch what the angel said again. But the angel of Yahweh called to him from heaven. Abraham, Abraham! He said, here I am. He said, do not stretch out your hand against the boy and do nothing to him. Now watch. For now I know that you fear God, since you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. You guys caught it? Did you catch it?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were willing to sacrifice your son for me, meaning you love me more than your son. Who? Me, the angel of Yahweh.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
wow. I never noticed that.
Yeah, I didn't notice that either.
Do you know why? Because this angel's not a creature. That's Jesus Christ. He's a messenger of the Father. He's the one who appears in the Old Testament, the angel of Yahweh. Everyone got it?
Yep.
You got it, right? Now, how does this point to Christ? Yahweh and the angel of Yahweh, Abraham and his son. Okay, now let me show you how it points to Christ. You ready for this? Watch here. Genesis, not only the promised lamb. Watch. Now it happened after these things that God tested Abraham and said to him, Abraham, and he said, here I am. Then he said, take now your son, your only son whom you love. Notice, 2 descriptions of Isaac. Your only son whom you love. Okay, let's see who Jesus is. Okay, your only son whom you love, right? Righty then. And here it says, by faith, Hebrews 11:17, Abraham, when he was tested, offered up Isaac, and he who had received the promises was offering up his only son. Now the word only son here, monogenes. I'm going to show you that in the Greek in a minute. Who is Jesus? Mark 1:11. And a voice came out of the heavens, you are my beloved son, and you I'm well pleased. Like Isaac, Jesus is God's beloved son. And like Isaac, Jesus is the only son. John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. Okay? See the connection between Isaac and Jesus?
Yeah.
See it? All right. Now watch in Hebrews 11:17. What's the word used for Isaac being Abraham's only son?
Monogenes.
Yep. Now why is that term relevant? We'll see. Right here it says ton monogeny, only begotten son. That's Isaac. Hebrews 11:17, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I click here and look where it appears. John 3:16. He gave his only begotten son. Wiyun ton monogeny. Right? And also appears here about Jesus. 1 John 4:9. Autu ton monogeny. So you seeing Isaac and Jesus are monogenes. Isaac and Jesus are monogeny, right?
Yes.
Only begotten. And they're both the beloved son of their fathers, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, now watch now. You are to offer him in one of the mountains of Moriah, correct? Go to the forth to the land of Moriah and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains of which I will tell you. Now, what day does he arrive at the mountain? Verse 4. On the third day.
Third day. Wow.
What day?
The third day.
What day does God spare Isaac from being killed?
On the third day.
What day does Abraham receive his son back?
Wow.
What day?
The third day.
What day does God receive his son back from the dead?
The third day.
Third day.
Isaac is a type of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
On the third day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place from a distance. And Abraham said to his young man, stay here with the donkey while I and the boy go over there. Now notice what he says something. What he says here that's interesting. We will worship. We will return to you. He's saying, the boy and I will return to you. But wait, is he lying? Because he knows he's going to kill the boy. So was he lying when he said, we will return to you? How is he going to return with the son? He's going to go kill him.
He'll kill him.
Wow. So he is promising him like you're gonna still have your son. So he is promising him that he will keep his son.
Yes, because Abraham knew God swore Isaac would be the line from which his descendants would be numbered, and Abraham knew the character of God. He knew God cannot lie, and because he cannot lie, if he's going to have me kill Isaac, but he's already told me Isaac is the one from whom my line will continue, then he's going to bring him back from the dead.
Yep.
Let me show you that. Okay, where did Abraham get that? Okay, let's see.
Wow.
Watch how it's going to point to Christ. This tells you the faith of Abraham. Why do you think he's called the father of the faithful? Because he knew God and he trusted God and he loved God and glorified God, right? Worshiped God, right? And knowing his God was perfectly holy and just, righteous and pure, loving and compassionate, and could not lie, he knew that since he told me Isaac is the one, and he made us wait 25 years and then gave us Isaac, for me to then kill him without having children, God's going to do a miracle and bring him back to life because he cannot lie to me and won't break his promise.
Right.
See, he knew the character of his God.
Mm-hmm.
You with me there?
Yeah.
You with me? Now, where did he get that promise? Genesis 17, 19 and 21. But God said, no, but Sarah, your wife, will bear you a son, and you shall call his name Isaac. It won't be Ishmael, it'll be Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant for his seed after him. As for Ishmael, I have heard you. Behold, I will bless him and will make him fruitful and will multiply him exceedingly. He shall become the father of 12 princes. I'll make him a great nation. But my covenant I will establish with Isaac, whom Sarah will bear to you at this season next year. Now notice what he says. This is a covenant for Isaac's seed after him.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
Isaac's seed after him.
Yeah.
You with me there?
Yes.
But when God told Abraham to kill your son, he had no seed.
So
Right?
he's letting him know in advance his promises throughout this whole thing.
Yeah, he told him right there before Isaac was born, because Isaac wasn't born yet.
Right.
He goes, Isaac's seed after him. But then when God told Abraham, kill Isaac, he had no seed.
Right.
So what does that mean?
God keeps his promises.
So then how's Abraham going to have his line continue through Isaac if Isaac's going to be killed? How's that going to happen? And he's got no children.
It wouldn't.
But Abraham knew God can't lie.
Right.
So when Abraham says, we will return to you, he wasn't lying. So what did he reason? See if you're getting it. What did he reason?
That the Lord would raise Isaac back
You got it. And when he'd raise him up, what day would that be?
on the third day.
So a type of Christ, the Son of God being raised on a third day, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Now, where do we get this insight from? Hebrews 11, 17, 19. Watch here. Let's go now to Hebrews 11, 17, 19. By faith, Abraham, when he was tested, offered up Isaac, and he who had received the promises, sorry, guys, my throat, pray for me, was offering up his only son. To whom it was said, in Isaac your seed shall be called. See, he knew it. He considered, he reasoned, God cannot lie to me. He's faithful. He's good. He's never failed me. I know him. I know he's reliable. Therefore, he's putting me to the test that if I kill Isaac, he's going to raise him back from the dead to keep his promise.
Yes.
He considered that God is able to raise people even from the dead.
Yep.
See, he believed in a resurrection.
Yes.
He believed that a resurrection was going to take place.
Hmm.
And then it says, from which, figuratively speaking, he also received them back. What does that mean? As far as Abraham was concerned, Isaac was as good as dead. So when God spared him, it's like he spared him from death by raising him back to life.
Yes.
But what day did he do it?
On the third day.
Which is a picture of Christ. So God was presenting him the gospel.